بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Welcome back, dear viewers, for another night of live in Karbala, where I am joined by my dear brother and servant of the Ahlul Bayt, Sayyid Ali Al-Nawab from London. Tonight, inshallah, we will continue our discussion on Abi Abdullah Al-Hussein and our relationship with Abi Abdullah Al-Hussein, inshallah. Before we do continue delving into this topic, I would ask the Sayyid to honor us with the ziyarah of Abi Abdullah Al-Hussein alayhi salam, inshallah.
صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله، صلى الله عليك وعلى أبيك أمير المؤمنين، صلى الله عليك وعلى أمك فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، صلى الله عليك وعلى أخيك أبي الفضل العباس وعلى أم البنين الطاهرة وعلى أختك الحوراء زينب وعلى المستشهدين بين يديك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Sayyid Ali Nawab, for that beautiful recitation and ziyarah of Abi Abdullah Al-Hussein and his holy family. Now, Sayyid, to dive straight into the topic, inshallah, tonight's topic, we will be discussing the signs of a true Hussein and what it means to be a true Hussein. You know, the actions we must take, the way we must represent the cause of Imam Al-Hussein. But the first thing I would ask myself to see if there are any issues in my actions is, am I a true Husseini now? What would I need to do to change if I am not? You know, what are the points in my life that are vital for me to be able to call myself a true Husseini?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Of course, tonight's topic is of vital importance because it touches directly about our relationship with Imam Hussein alayhi salam and our life today according to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And I have brought a number of narrations that I want to share with our dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, to answer a number of questions. That am I a supporter of Hussein and his path, and what I have offered the Husseini rituals or the path of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, what tonight and inshallah during the next days and months to come is that what is that feature that distinguishes me from other individuals in regards with Imam Hussein and my relationship to Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Salamullah alayka wa
If I, and when I say if I, it's a rhetorical question, is if someone comes and says that what distinguishes me from others on the face of this planet in regards with their relationship to Imam Hussein alayhi salam is that I know Hussein alayhi salam, I know who Imam Hussein is. He is the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen Fatima al-Zahra, grandson of the Holy Prophet.
Is
A
that
general information. By default, everyone knows who Imam Hussein alayhi salam is.
As a name, as a person,
Yes.
as a personality, yes.
Some might come and say that I believe in Hussein. I believe in him that he is an Imam and he is muftarad al-ta'a, I have to obey him. and he is one of the infallibles. Some might come and say that he has great status, Ali Sha'n, wal Qadr, is important in the Islamic world. I would come and answer this by reading out some narrations, and through these very important narrations, we would come and find out that not only the Muslims, but the Christians, the Jews, and the non-believers, they believe in Hussein alayhi salam. The non-believers, the kuffar, the Jews, the Christians, they know who Hussein is. And they know he is an imam, not necessarily following him, but they know he is an imam.
Or in their sense, a saint.
A
they
saint.
would say, yes.
So what is it that you believe? And when I say you, is a general question. What is it that you believe is in you, that feature that you carry that distinguishes you from other people? You the believer, you the mu'min, you the follower of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and you who believe and say that I follow Imam Hussein alayhi salam in his footsteps. Is it enough for you to have these attributes? Or do we have to have more? Do we have to be one step ahead? Some who are Muslims, and this is all heading towards the main title of the series of the lectures that we have, and the series of discussions that we have these nights about the Husseini rituals, Sha'air al-Husainiyya, because our faith and our iman about Imam Hussein alayhi salam is all as a result of our practicing, our belief, our support of the Husseini rituals.
Applying action to your beliefs as opposed to just believing it.
Just believing it. Because iman, when we come and find out what iman is, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam come and define iman as imanun, that you have to believe it inside your heart, imanun fil qalb, wa ala al-lisan, and physically show the iman
in action, yeah.
and the actions. And Imam Zain al-Abidin. And I want to our brothers and sisters to follow us in this narration.
And inshallah, for those who are watching, inshallah they can take notes of the certain narrations you are mentioning. Inshallah, for those who are watching, inshallah they can take notes of the certain narrations you are mentioning. So if they need to recall back to them, inshallah you have the opportunity to at a later date as well.
And in advance, I would like to apologize to those who are very sensitive in regards to the trials and tribulations of Imam Hussein, the masa'ib of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, because some of the narrations that I am going to recite and narrate to you might have some very sensitive, heart-wrenching information. لما أتي برأس الحسين عليه السلام. Salam Allah alayhi. And who is narrating this? His son, Imam Zain al-Abidin, another infallible. لما أتي برأس الحسين عليه السلام إلى يزيد. And this is when they took the family and started making their way to Kufa and Sham. The head of Imam Hussein alayhi السلام was always entering upon the tyrants before the family did. يتصرف بتصرفات توجع قلب أهل البيت عليهم السلام. He got up in doing some actions, he executed some things in regards to the head in front of the family of the Imam alayhi salam, that it hurted, it saddened them to see someone like Yazid doing this to the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in front of us. Because Yazid used to organize programs, or umsiyat as it's called in Arabic, gatherings of shurb, of drinking. And when we say drinking, intoxicating substances. ويأتي برأس الحسين ويضع الرأس بين يديه. Now imagine, and I want you to imagine the details. Yazid sitting in his palace, the head of Rayhanat Rasulillah, the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The head, what a scene in front of him. And these evenings, these programs or these events that Yazid used to organize, it was an event that he had invited all of those who he enjoyed drinking with them. So it was a happy evening for him.
And this is a man who claimed to be the leader of the Islamic.
This is a man who claimed to be the representative and the person that continued the path of the message of Islam. ويأتي برأس الحسين ويضع الرأس بين يديه. He is busy drinking, intoxicating himself, and the holy head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is in front of him. One of the days, the ambassador of the Romans was present in that majlis. Being a political person, being a political entity, he had invited the representatives of other religions, the representatives of other states and emperors to come and attend the program. يوم من الأيام حضر الرسول ملك الروم, and this noble person, this ambassador, was from a noble family. He wasn't a normal person. يعني alongside him being a political person, an ambassador, he was from a noble family as well. Who is narrating? Let's not forget that this is Imam Zainul Abidin narrating. This Roman ambassador who was from a noble family, سأل يزيد يا ملك العرب, directing his speech to Yazid, O king of Arabs, رأس من هذا? This head that you have in front of you, whose head is it? قال يزيد ما لك ولهذا الرأس. Ignore the fact that there is a head in front of me. Basically, it's none of your business. قال له المبعوث إذا رجعت سيسألني ملك الروم عن كل شيء رأيته. I am an ambassador, and part of my responsibilities is that when I go back to my king, my emperor, I
have to relay everything to him.
He will ask me, what did you see during your travel? I have to answer.
So it's better you tell me than me saying there is just a head in your court.
فأجبت.
سلام الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله.
I have to inform him about the status of this head. So he can, this is still the Roman ambassador relating, so he can join you and share with you this happy event. From this we learn that it was a party, because this ambassador is saying that this is a happy event and I want to share this news with the Roman emperor.
They're clearly celebrating.
So he can celebrate with you. فقال يزيد هذا رأس الحسين بن علي بن أبي طالب. Yazid says to the Roman ambassador, this is the head of Hussein, son of Ali, son of Abi Talib. فقال له الرومي ومن أمه? Who is his mother? This is a question that not a normal person asks. This Roman individual is very clever. فقال يزيد أمه فاطمة بنت رسول الله. فقال النصراني. This narration is, I am relating this narration, so we, our brothers and sisters, wherever they are hearing this, that we can relate to it when we hear that a Christian, a Roman individual, reacts to this event in this manner. How should I, the Shi'i, the lover of Imam Hussein, the person that mourns for Imam Hussein, the person that wears black in the Aza and martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, how should I relate? فقال النصراني أف لك. A Christian person. إن أبي من حوافي داود. My father is from the ahfad of Dawood, from the grandchildren of the Prophet Dawood. I am from a noble family. وبيني وبينه الكثير من الآباء. Between me and my ancestors, Prophet Dawood, there is a history of forefathers. والنصارى relate and investigate this hadith. والنصارى يعظموني. The Christians, they glorify me.
Because he's from the lineage of Dawood.
Because he is from the lineage. But the lineage is so far. يعظموني ويأخذون تراب قدمي ركن. Again, this is a narration to say to those, why do you go and do tabarruk? Why do you wipe your hand on the grave of Imam Hussein? Why do you carry the turba of Imam Hussein with you? يأخذون من تراب قدمي تبركا, because I am from the lineage of Prophet Dawood. وأنتم, now what's wrong with you? وأنتم تقتلون ابن بنت رسول الله وما بينكم, this is very important, وما بينكم وبينه إلا واحدة. It's not very far. Historically,
same lifetime.
There is only one person between you and this Hussein. فأي دين دينكم? What kind of a religion does this to the grandson of their prophet? He's either saying to Yazid that your deen, I neglect to understand that this is Islam if you say you are a Muslim.
There's something wrong here. Either the religion you follow or the way you are implementing the
Exactly.
religion.
Or that's what kind of a religion, if you say this is Islam, what kind of a religion allows for such an act to be committed? Because here, unfortunately, some people, when they observe someone who in the face value is a Muslim, or he's a sha'airi person, or he is someone who prays and fasts, and they commit mistakes, they relate his mistake and they make sure, they think that everyone that does this act is the same, on the same caliber, the same level. Then what did Yazid do when this Roman person spoke in such a manner? He said, قال يزيد اقتلوا هذا النصراني. Kill this Christian man. لكي لا يفضحني في بلاده.
He knows. He knows.
He knows.
He knows.
Because if he was to go back to Rome,
La'natullah.
he is going to speak out. And he's going to say that this is what Yazid done to the grandson of his prophet.
The ties are broken.
So when politics, ru'us nuqat, bullet points, and you can think and ponder, when politics comes and contradicts with your belief, you have to choose, which one do I follow? Which one do I stick to? Siyasa or my faith? And in this day and age, in the name of protecting and the protection of mu'mineen because of corona, they come and attack the sha'air of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Pushing their own agenda.
Pushing their own agenda through these kind of climates. Yazid used to feel the ar, he used to feel the embarrassment that he has caused to himself and to Bani Umayyah. قال له النصراني أتريد أن تقتلني? Do you really want to kill me? قال يزيد نعم. Yazid said yes. قال النصراني إني رأيت البارحة نبيكم في المنام. Last night,
there's a reason why he asked who's his mother, who's his father. There is a reason.
This is a beautiful narration. قال النصراني إني رأيت نبيكم البارحة في المنام. I saw your prophet last night in my dream. Again, this is a very important point, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, ever since the caravan of Imam Hussein alayhi salam left the city of Medina, he was with the caravan all the way in every step. Why? Because this narration proves it. إني رأيت البارحة نبيكم في المنام يقول يا نصراني. He spoke to me.
It's funny how he goes to a Christian man as well. And he doesn't go to someone else in the court who claims to be Muslim.
Yes.
SubhanAllah.
Because he can see that this Christian man, his heart is pure. قال لي يا نصراني أنت من أهل الجنة.
SubhanAllah. Certified.
Rasulullah, the head of Imam Hussein, is in front of Yazid. The ambassador of Rome to Sham sees a dream. And he is relating his dream to who? To Yazid.
To Yazid.
قال له إني رأيت البارحة نبيكم في المنام يقول لي يا نصراني أنت من أهل الجنة. Which means that you, Yazid, are من أهل فتعجبت من كلامه. I was amazed from the words of the Holy Prophet. And then this is the important point of this narration. He said, I saw the Prophet. He told me I am from Ahlul Jannah. And now that you have told your gods to kill me, فأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. You see, the mentioning of the name of Fatima al-Zahra, and this is the source of blessing. Because Yazid told him, هذا رأس ابن الحسين ابن علي ابن أبي طالب. But there was another point that was going to add to his guidance towards Ahlul Bayt. The name of Fatima al-Zahra. فقال أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. What did he do then? He ran. An ambassador, a political person representing a major government at that time, and from a noble family. فوثب إلى رأس الحسين. He ran towards the head of Hussein.
The Qibla of the Mu'mineen.
He says, the narration says he hugged the head of Hussein. And he started kissing the head of Imam Hussein. This Christian man hugged the head of Hussein and kissed the head of Hussein. And how did the enemies of Imam Hussein, those who claimed they were Muslims, how did they treat the head of Hussein? And he is a Christian man who defended the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
We see today people have no respect for the, not just the head, the holy head of Imam al-Hussein, for his principles, for his actions. And you see this man from another faith, upon seeing the head of Imam al-Hussein, he is drawn towards it.
Of course he was killed.
Of course he was killed.
This man was killed, and he is amongst the companions of Imam Hussein. After Ashura, he supported the cause of Hussein. Now, this gives us a lesson.
What are we doing in support of the cause?
He believed in Hussein, and he protected Imam Hussein, and he was a Christian all his life.
A qibla.
Now
Imam al-Hussein is a qibla to the mu'minin.
I am a mu'min, and I am a follower, and I mourn and cry for Hussein all my life, especially in Muharram. What more do I have to do to be better than this Christian person? This is one narration. A Jewish person in the Majlis of Yazid, another narration about the Majlis of Yazid. He speaks to Yazid. He says, إني وجدت في التوراة من قتل ذرية نبي فلا يزال ملعونا أبدا.
He said this to Yazid.
He said this to Yazid. Now if you say that man was a Christian man and he is closer to Islam, then this man is a Jewish person. And he did not fear to stand in front of a tyrant whose work is very obvious. He's got the head of the grandson of his own prophet in front of him.
Very clear.
How is he going to deal with a person from another religion? Now this gives you and me and our dear brothers and sisters a lesson that when time comes and you are needed to make a stance, mawqif, and stand and speak out haqq, speak out truth.
Are you going to cower away? Are you going to make a stand?
And he says to Yazid, you are mal'oon.
To his face. And
Says-
now people tell us, don't do la'na on Yazid.
إني وجدت في التوراة من قتل
سبحان الله.
ذرية نبي فلا يزال ملعونا أبدا until the end of time.
La'natullah.
Oh Yazid, I will curse you. Every Jewish person will curse you. And all of the other religions will curse you because you are someone who killed the grandson of your prophet. ذرية نبي.
And they don't even know the true status of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein.
And he
To them,
doesn't
he's just a
know.
grandson of the Prophet. If he was to know the true status of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, imagine what he would have told him.
We today know probably more than that Jewish
Would
person.
we make that same stand? That's the question we need to ask ourselves.
فإذا مات Yazid, if you were to die, أصلاه الله نار جهنم. Not only you are going to be cursed throughout history, but your position is in the pits of the hellfire. That's it. يعني,
What more
this
do you-
person just issued his death warrant by saying this. But he knows the truth is with the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
What should our stance be today? Ask yourself, what is my stance in the midst of these currents and tides of deviation, of attacks against Imam Hussein, against the mu'mineen, against the sha'air of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? When I hear a group of people on the Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on the social media, on Twitter, attacking mu'mineen for going to the ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in this current climate, shall I stay quiet? Shall I defend? Shall I join in and attack them? What shall I do? Test your iman. Test your devotion to Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
People seem to forget that the social media platforms is the same as if you are sitting face to face with someone, essentially. If you're quiet when you see dhulm and injustice on these platforms, you have as much of a duty to speak there as you would if you were to see someone being oppressed in front of you, especially when it comes to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein.
Because the issue of Imam Hussein, the revolution of Imam Hussein, the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, as we defined a couple of nights ago, is not defined in a time and place.
It's eternal.
It's eternal, it's ongoing. It's a continuous test, it's an imtihan. Here I want to clarify a point about Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Yazid, the way he dealt with issues at that time is different to the way his father used to deal with issues. His father Muawiyah was someone who was political, kan siyasi. He used to think twice before committing an act. He used to study the individual or the personality of the person in front of him. Yazid was totally the opposite. He didn't understand politics. He didn't understand religion. He didn't understand any levels or any stops or any boundary. He didn't have anything of that. He was fierce. He was wahshi in his nature. He was someone who didn't have any kind of boundaries,
No
social
intellect,
boundaries,
no
no
thing.
intellect, no behavior, no morals, no ethics, no nothing. Muawiyah says to his son, because Yazid writes a letter to his father, كتب يزيد لأبيه أن يصغر من شأن الحسين. Why are you respecting Hussein so much? You know, Hussein is the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and you fought with Ali ibn Abi
I
Talib.
was worried about his seat from then.
So why are you not attacking him directly? Just get rid of him. The same way you got rid of his brother Hassan. Listen to what Muawiyah, his father, his own father. فقال له معاوية وما عسيت أن أعيب حسينا. Hussein doesn't have any points that I can use against him.
Subhanallah. He wants to. He wants to defame Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, but he's got nothing against him.
This is a statement made by Muawiyah. The first scenario was a Christian man who defended Imam Hussein. The second scenario was a Jewish person defending Hussein. This scenario is from a person that does not believe does not follow Hussein, does not believe he's an Imam. But look at how he
just
speaks
has no
about
tools.
Hussein.
He knows that he has no tools. And something to prove that is when Yazid sent the army against Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, a lot of his soldiers didn't know it was Hussein, son of Ali, they were fighting. What did he label him as? Khariji. Because he knew if the people knew it was Hussein ibn Ali,
He
the
doesn't
tables
have
would have
any.
turned.
Muawiyah is saying to his own son,
Subhanallah.
I do not see any negative points in Hussein, so I can disgrace him for it.
Yet power does a lot to the mind.
Another narration. Tonight is all narrations.
I
So
hope
we can
dear
benefit.
viewers, you are taking notes of these narrations as well, inshallah.
Imam Hussein alayhi salam, at one time he came to Mecca, as he usually used to do. He enters Masjid al-Haram, he crosses, he comes by Amr ibn al-As. Amr ibn al-As, the least I can say about Amr ibn al-As is that he is an individual who prepared, who set the foundations for the government of Bani Umayyah. He was a wicked individual. فمر الحسين به وهو جالس في ظل الكعبة. Amr ibn al-As,
Subhanallah, look where they're sitting as well.
by the house of Allah, just to give a clear image about themselves that we are religious individuals.
Now, the hypocrisy is just on a whole new level of hypocrisy.
So when you see someone today, maybe he is dressed in the clothes of Islam,
Don't be fooled by
do
appearances.
not be fooled straight away.
Subhanallah.
فمر الحسين به وهو عمرو بن العاص جالس في ظل الكعبة. Amr ibn al-As points at Imam Hussein and speaks to his companions. فأشار إلى الحسين. He didn't speak to Imam Hussein directly. فأشار إلى الحسين وقال للذين حوله هذا, this person, Hussein, أحب أهل الأرض إلى أهل الأرض. Amongst the inhabitants of this earth, he is the most beloved individual. Who is saying this?
I don't, wallah, I don't understand sometimes. They are the enemies, they are open enemies of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. But they still say good about him because that's all they can say about him. There's
Amr
nothing
ibn
they can say
al-As.
negative about Imam al-Hussein. And they are the killers of Imam al-Hussein. They built the foundation of the army and the country who killed Abi Abdullah al-Hussein.
He is praising Imam Hussein. Muawiyah is praising
Allahu
Imam Hussein. هذا أحب أهل الأرض إلى أهل الأرض وإلى أهل السماء. Okay, if he's amongst the people of the earth, if he is the most beloved person, yeah, his akhlaq is good, his morals is good, he helps the masakin. But if you know that he is linked to the skies, to the heavens, and that everything will go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Then why oppose him?
Then why are you fighting Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Why are you standing against the mu'mineen? Why are you standing against the sha'air of Imam Hussein alayhi salam?
Allahu Akbar. This is what the dunya does to people. These people want what's in the dunya. They forget. I would say they forget what's in the akhirah, but he mentions that Imam al-Hussein is linked to the sky. So I can't even, there's no way to justify. If I was going to justify it, there's no way to justify it.
Now let's compare. Amr ibn al-As has a percentage of knowledge about Imam Hussein and his position. Now, what is the difference between a normal person, a Muwali, that says, I am Muwali and I believe that Hussein is linked to the skies. I believe that Hussein is loved on earth and in the skies. So what is the difference between your level of knowledge about Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Amr ibn al-As's level of knowledge about Imam Hussein alayhi salam? What differentiates you? What is that miza that differentiates you?
Subhanallah.
Another narration. في رواية أن معاوية لما قربت وفاته, on his deathbed, قال ليزيد إذا نازعك الحسين بن علي على هذا الأمر.
So this is on Muawiyah's deathbed.
Yes, saying to Yazid, if Hussein, son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, stands in your face regarding this amr, khilafah. فَإِن قَدِرْتَ عَلَيْهِ فَاصْفَحْ عَنْهِ. If you had the ability not to go to battle with him, not to go to war with him, leave him alone. Now if Muawiyah is Imam Hussein's enemy and he wants to destroy Imam Hussein, he wouldn't have advised his son Yazid, if you have the ability, leave Hussein alone. فَإِنَّ لَهُ رَحِمٌ أو رَحِمًا مَاسَّةً وَحَقًّا عَظِيمًا. He is from a lineage, his rahim, the lineage is a very purified, very holy.
Be drawn towards him. Subhanallah.
Of course.
And he warned his son, but he did not heed his warning.
I think I would have to leave the rest of the narrations, the beautiful narrations, until...
Narrations are endless. Narrations are endless.
And when we read the narrations of Ahlul Bayt, specifically narrations related to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we have to ponder upon every single word used in these narrations, because every single word opens a whole new chapter, a whole new door of ma'rifah to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now, we go back to the questions we started off the show with, that what have I offered as a service to Imam Hussein alayhi salam? What have I done regarding the traditions and the sha'air of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the rituals of Imam Hussein?
What have I done to revive the name of Imam Hussein alayhi salam?
These people that I mentioned, they had some sort of knowledge about Imam Hussein, and they sacrificed, at least the Christian person and the Jewish person, they sacrificed themselves for the sake of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Am I on the same level as this Christian and Jewish person, or am I expected to provide more support, provide more service, to revive, to engage in, at least engage in the rituals of Imam Hussein alayhi salam?
The Christian and the Jew were both granted shahada in the path of Imam Hussein. I pray to Allah, I speak on behalf of myself, that I am granted the shahada in the path of Imam Hussein, that I am at the service with my blood and my life for Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
And the best example we can take about individuals who showed the utmost level of love and devotion and affection towards Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and went all the way until the end to show that they do not fear death when they are serving Imam Hussein. It was a noble lady by the name of al-Banin.
Salamullah.
al-Banin, why is she titled? One of the titles of al-Banin is Babul Hawa'ij. Why? Because she had a haja. She requested something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew best not to grant her her haja. And what was that haja? Her haja was that I want Hussein to come back safely to Medina. Let my sons be killed.
If I had 1,000 sons,
let them all perish in defending the son of the Rayhanat of Fatima al-Zahra, Rayhanat Rasulullah. But I want Hussein to come back. Most of those who are Babul Hawa'ij, because their hajat was not granted, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered their call, rewarded them to become Babul Hawa'ij. So people, when they come to their door and they knock and they ask for a haja, Allah will give them this karama to answer the calls of the mu'min.
For their sake.
Now anyone tonight, because we are remembering al-Banin, the mother of the four, if you have a haja, and we all have hawa'ij, we might ask al-Baneen to help us in our life, to help us in our marriage, to help us in our studies, to help us at work. We have ill individuals, family members, father, mother, siblings, uncle, auntie. They are ill, they are in the hospitals, they are at home. They would love to come to Karbala and they can't. Ask Baneen tonight.
Inshallah.
And I know most of the mu'mineen listening to us and looking at these images, they long to be in Karbala and to feel the atmosphere from close.
Said, when I tell you the messages I've been receiving, the calls I've been receiving when I'm off the show, every call is tears. Every call I receive is someone crying and yearning to be here. It's like someone has ripped their heart out because they're not just unable to be here, but they're unable to mourn for Imam Hussein the way they usually do, in the normal manner.
One of the Sayyids was showing me a video message he had received from a brother who was not able to be in Karbala this year because of the apparent pandemic. In the video, this man was crying his eyes out, and he was making the following statement: "Oh Sayyid, is Abbas not your uncle? Why don't you go and speak to him? Why don't you go and tell him your servant wants to come to Karbala?" And this Abbas is the son of Baneen. Now, Abbas has a special link to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And vice versa, Imam Hussein alayhi salam has a special link to Baneen. Because of the wafa, because of the devotion of Baneen and her 4 sons. And inshallah, I will go and recite the masa'ib of Baneen, inshallah. And during the masa'ib, please remember all your hajat. And remember and share the pain of Baneen regarding Abu Abdullah al-Hussein.
I said, I thank you for this discussion. This whole show has been a musibah. Many of the points we discussed have been a musibah of the Ahlul Bayt. You know, we brought tears to our eyes throughout the show, but we cannot conclude it without yourself being on the minbar of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and relaying the calamities that befell upon them, inshallah. So Sayyid, I ask you to again bring a tear to our eyes on the minbar of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, and inshallah we can mourn the masa'ib as we are drawing closer to the day of Ashura, the day of sacrifice and the day of bloodshed. اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها
والسر المستودع فيها عدد ما أحاط به علمك. Let's go to the city of Medina. And let's remember the night that al-Banin, as a wife to Amir al-Mu'mineen, was coming for the first time to enter the house of Ali ibn Abi Talib. The family of al-Banin, the tribe of Kilab al-Hizam bint Hizam al-Kilabiyya, came bringing their daughter as a wife to Ali ibn Abi Talib. She stood by the door of the house of Ali ibn Abi Talib. She faces her family and says, "Wait, do not leave me, do not go back." "Why, O Fatima?" She says, "Because I have something to accomplish, I have something to do." This is the nobility of al-Banin. This is the devotion of this noble lady. She went inside the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen. She noticed Husain, Zainab, Kulthum are sitting along the corners of the house. She said to them, "Ya Abna al-Zahra, O sons of Fatima, please note that I have not come to replace and to take the place and the position of your mother Fatima. I am here as a servant. I am here to serve you. I am your maid. Do you accept me as a khadim?" Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, the rest of the children of Fatima said, "No, oh Fatima, your place is in our hearts. You are most welcome to come into this house." Upon hearing this, al-Banin informs her family, "Now you can go back, as my masters have accepted me as a servant in this house." This is the first day that al-Banin came inside the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Days passed. Then every time Amir al-Mu'mineen used to call her Fatima, "Come Fatima, go. Fatima, sit beside me." Fatima, al-Banin, used to look at the faces of Hassan and Husain. Imagine, they have lost a beautiful, dear mother to their hearts by the name of Fatima. Every time they used to hear the name of "What is it, O Fatima?" "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Every time you call me by Fatima, I look at Husain, I look at Husain. They place their heads on the wall and they start crying, they start weeping. It's as if they are remembering their mother and how her ribs were broken between the door and the wall. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I don't want you to call me Fatima anymore. Change my name, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen here says to Fatima, oh Fatima, from now onwards, I am going to call you al-Baneen, the mother of the sons. Why? Because al-Baneen, as a result of this marriage, brought into this world 4 beautiful, handsome and brave warriors, because the sole reason for Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen marrying Fatima al-Baneen was that from this marriage he is able to bring offsprings that are going to grow up and support, be a backbone for their brother Husain on the plains of Karbala. Al-Baneen brought up her sons Abbas, Ja'far, Abdullah in a way, or Uthman and some other narrations in a way that even when they were calling their brother Hussein Bisayyidi wa Mawlai, never did they call Imam Hussein bi Akhi, my brother. This is how they respected their older brother. He was their master in the first place. Al-Baneen sent her brothers to Karbala. They went, they fought, they became martyrs. After advising them of their duties in Karbala, protect Hussein, make sure you protect your sister Zainab. When the news came back from Karbala, Bishr ibn Hadlam says, I entered Medina. I started calling out, Ya Ahla Yathrib, La Muqam lakum bihaya. What is it, O Bishr? What has happened? I will give you the news. Next to the grave of Rasulullah, they all came. Every single man and woman in the city of Medina came and congregated around the grave of the Holy Prophet, wanting to hear Bishr. What is it? Bishr started crying out, Ya Ahla Yathrib, La Muqam لكم بها قتل الحسين فأدمع مدرار الجسم منه بكربلاء مضرج الجسم منه بكربلاء مضرج والرأس منه على القناة Yudaru. Hussein has been martyred in Karbala, O people of Medina. Bishr says, suddenly I noticed a noble lady carrying a child on her back. She came forward, she started asking me, Anta na'i rayhanat Rasulillah, are you the one mourning Hussein? I am saying Hussein has been killed, and she is saying, tell me about Hussein. أهو حي أم ميت? So I asked who this lady is. They told me this is al-Baneen, the mother of Abbas and his brothers. I now realize that this lady is in mourning. I told her, oh al-Baneen, عظم الله لك الأجر بأبنائك. I told her your sons one by one were martyred in Karbala. She continued saying, did I ask you about my sons? May my sons be martyred for the sake of Hussein. It is then that Bishr said, al-Balin, عظم الله لك الأجر بأبي الفضل العباس. Here, al-Balin, the narrators say that the child fell from the hands of al-Balin, and she said, لقد قطعت نيات قلبي. You have ripped my heart out of its place. Tell me about Imam Hussein. Here Bishr says, يا al-Balin, عظم الله لك الأجر بأبي عبد الله الحسين. Here al-Balin hits her head and recites Masaib and cries for Hussein.